great to have everybody here on the California Bearcats channel. Thanks for being a part of it. Please subscribe, like, and share. And it's great to have Grant Corsi with us, my son, as the first interview, and hopefully the first guy when we do go to the Philippines, whenever that is, to come over and what's that?
Everything's closed off right now.
So exactly. Yeah. So whenever that happens, and so hopefully Grant will be the first one to come down and really teach the kids some things about basketball and life. And I think all the kids will really enjoy them. So Grant, thanks for doing this. I know you're very busy, so I appreciate you doing this. And so first question I want to ask you is I want the audience just to get to know you, and so. Just tell me, what are you doing now? I know how old you are, but tell everybody how old you are, where you living now, and do you have a girlfriend?
Yeah, well, so born and raised in San Diego, obviously your son, Dave Corsi's son, spent a lot of time in San Diego for the first 19 years of my life. Doing now, so I was overseas. I had a chance to play college basketball at Biola University and Trinity International. Went overseas and played professional basketball in Germany. But now I'm just kind of transitioned to my next stage in life. I'm a medical sales rep for a dietary supplement company called Orthomolecular. And I'm living in Newport Beach. I'm running the Orange County territory, anywhere from Newport Beach, San Clemente, all the way up to Irvine, that whole 949 region. And I do have a girlfriend. Don't know how, but it's one thing that I've been able to keep for 3 years. Jessica Sager, she's an angel. So it's one thing that I haven't done well in life, I could say.
Yes, I agree with that. Yeah, she is an amazing young lady. So you're very lucky, no doubt. So tell us about your. Just get right into it. Tell us about your basketball career. Tell us about when you started playing basketball, just the whole progression, high school, college, youth basketball, and the whole bit. So that the kids can start to understand what it takes and your commitment and all that, and your success. Yeah.
So really, for as long as I can remember, I was playing basketball. I always just had a basketball in my hand ever since I started thinking and actually can visualize thoughts. There's videos and that you probably were videotaping of me in the kitchen shooting on a little hoop, 2-foot hoop, and just dunking and shooting over and over and over again as like a 2-year-old.
You know those little things that are in your crib, the crib, they put over the crib? Those were all basketballs, that were subliminally,
Sure, yeah, you just brainwashed me.
Yeah, brainwashed you.
Yeah, brainwashed the heck out of me.
The little thing you sucked in as a kid, what is that called? We had a basketball on. So,
yeah, I mean, my first word was ball, so yeah, so I always just grew up playing basketball. First time actually playing organized basketball was with the Bearcats. Then it was the Solana Beach Cats, and played all the way through high school. Was really just a short, chubby kid back then who all I could do was really just shoot. Wasn't athletic, didn't really grow into my body, was kind of just short in terms of basketball standards, even though I was still a tall kid, but everyone else was growing. And then in high school at Santa Fe, that's where I actually really started to shine and grow my talents. I was on varsity, started a few games my freshman year, then sophomore. In between my freshman and sophomore year, I hit about a 6-inch, 7-inch growth spurt, and then just completely bloomed up.
Yeah, I remember that summer. Yeah.
It was awesome. I mean, that's when was because I was just a shooter, and then because I grew tall, I actually grew into my body, my athleticism. Even though I'm not an athlete whatsoever, I gained some sort of athleticism, and I was able to actually get to the hoop, drive, finish on taller defenders, and after that I was just continue to hone my craft. And luckily in my senior year had a few chances to go and play college basketball, and ended up going to Biola University, had a full ride scholarship there. It was just not the right situation for me. I started my first 2 years there.
But now, can I ask you one question before you get into college more? Did you play in other sports in high school, or did you play basketball, football? What did you?
Not in high school, no. So I did NJB soccer. I was a goalie, so that pretty much shows my soccer skills. I did flag football all the way up to 8th grade. Okay. I just honing a sport, basketball was always my sport.
Okay.
Yeah. So that was always my thing, just focus solely on basketball. And because I know I wasn't a good athlete, I just worked harder than anybody. And that's just what I had to do, because there was guys that I played against that were more athletic than me, more talented than me, guys that I even played with that were more athletic than me.
You weren't even the best athlete in the family, really.
No, it's my sister for sure. She could have been a D1 athlete if she wanted to. Yeah. Yeah. And then probably my mom, and then me, and then you. But
okay. Yeah. Okay. Okay. Continue the story. I knew that was coming.
Yeah. So, I mean, I was never an athlete. I always had to work my butt off. And I really showed when I went to college too, because I remember the first open gym, I have a full ride. I'm thinking oh, this is going to be awesome. Coming in, and I'm playing against grown men. There was a guy that I was competing against on my spot. He went to the Army for 6 years, 7 years, came back, got a scholarship to come to Iowa, and he already played college basketball before, but he still had 2 years of eligibility. Jakari Miller, and he was 27 years old. Just had an arm going against him on a day-to-day basis. And I was okay, this is where I just need to work my butt off as much as possible to get to that point. So I just continue to work and work and work. And through that, just realized that my work ethic was just higher than everybody else. And when it wasn't, I had to make it better than people, because that was my thing. That's what I needed to do to succeed. And ended up transferring to Trinity International in Chicago, and we made the NAI Elite 8 my senior year. I was an NAI All-American. We won 30 games and actually hit the game winner to send us to the Elite 8. And it was just a very successful time. And I attribute that all to my coach, Coach Boomer Roberts. He was an unbelievable coach. And also, he just really instilled in us a work ethic and actually put us on a plan. I was hey, this is what you guys are going to do. And I just followed that straight to the T, even did more so when I could. And through that, just kept on that regimen throughout the entire time, even after I graduated. And my whole goal was to play professional basketball after I graduated. That was my thing. That's what I knew I wanted to do. And after that summer, I graduated 2017. Going into that summer, I was okay, I'm going to get picked up by a team in the fall. That's my goal. That's what every player after college basketball wants to do. And come that fall, thought I was going to go to Spain. Ended up having a problem with the visa. It didn't work out to go there. And I was just sitting in the US, just waiting, thinking, okay, what the heck is going? Kept grinding. The Australian, New Zealand season was coming around in January. So I was I'm going to grind for that. Was talking to an Australian team, ended up going with another player at the last second. I was dang, this sucks. Really starting to second guess, having these thoughts, doubts in my head. And I was no, this is my dream. This is what I felt called to do. I want to do this. In the meantime, I was just coaching, training kids. It was literally basketball was my whole entire life that year. And I loved it because I got to stay around the gym. I was working hard. I was working out 3 to 4 hours a day, just staying ready for basically nothing at that time, but just staying ready. And then finally got in contact with the team in Germany, had contacts with him for about 2 months, was going back and forth with their coach, their board of directors pretty much for that team. And luckily, after about 2 months, they signed me to a contract and got to go over to Germany, play for 9 months. All glory to God through that, and had an awesome time playing basketball. My first game there was probably the best game of my entire life.
Yeah. Tell me about that. How many points you scored?
I had 38 and 17. First pro game. Best game of my life. I think I just blacked out the whole entire game. I'm not really sure what happened, but yeah, we got the dub at a home facility too, home court. So all the fans obviously were pretty bumped about it. So yeah, I mean, that's just kind of my basketball story in a nutshell. And then just played a year there. My basketball career pretty much ended up with me rupturing my quad in 2019, January 2019. So about 2/3 into the season, and went through a whole entire process of just getting better, getting right. And it took me about 6 months. Do not wish upon my worst enemy for them to rupture a quad. I couldn't walk for 2 months. And I was laying in bed watching Netflix, stuck in Germany, waiting until I can actually bend my knee to get on a plane. And through that whole time, just thought about life. And I knew I wanted to be in California. It was fun being over in Germany, but you're just out there by yourself playing professional basketball. It gets lonely. And I knew I wanted to be back in California next to my family, next to my girlfriend, next to all my friends, and had a chance to go back to Spain, got another offer, but just decided like, hey, I fulfilled my dream. I did exactly what I wanted to do. Like, I'm going to move on to the next season in life. So that's my basketball story.
That's awesome. It's a great story. Yeah, it's a great career. And you didn't even touch on your career at Santa Fe Christian is one of the best players ever to play there. It's just great career all around. So, yeah, it's awesome. Hey, so let me ask you a question. Like, explain to me your experience with originally Solana Beachcats, now the Bearcats, and how it really prepared you for high school, college, and professional basketball.
Oh, it was awesome. So third grade, that's when you pretty much took over the Bearcats, or the Beachcats, Solana Beachcats, I should say. And back then we were just kind of a team that was just kind of thrown together at first. But I remember the valleys were always, we're going to get you ready for high school basketball. That was pretty much the whole entire mission statement of the Solana Beachcats at the time. And through that, it was learning the fundamentals, learning how to make a right-handed layup, left-handed layup, learning how to play defense. And it was always, if you can't play defense, you're not going to make a high school basketball team, which was frustrating at the time because I wasn't a good defensive player. It's something I learned quickly, especially when I got to high school with Chad Bickley, who's a great coach, loves playing defense, and doesn't play defense much himself, but is a great defensive coach.
This is true.
Yeah,
Chad, I hope you're watching.
Right. So, so that's always the core values, just fundamentals, getting better at defense, working together as a team through motion offense. And our first year together as a team, I think we're third grade playing up in fourth grade, and we competed, almost had a chance to win a championship, and we just kept on growing, and that same team stuck together the entire time. I remember it was a core of about 6 of us that stayed together all the way from third grade to 8th grade. And that got us just extremely ready for basketball and high school basketball and years beyond. And we were all playing. 2 guys on that team were starting on a team in varsity basketball in freshman year. Everybody on that team was playing varsity basketball freshman year. Like, we were just completely locked, ready to go. And I think that's what you did and Solana Beachcats did so well, is just got kids ready for high school basketball at a stage where people wanted to do the show. They wanted the mixtapes for the 7th and 8th graders. They just focused on 1 or 2 kids because they were like the talented kids of the group. Like, Solana Beachcats really just focused on the whole team together and wanted to get each kid ready for high school basketball.
That's great. And you know, as you know, the Bearcats have always tried to go beyond just basketball and really, really try to prepare kids for life, way beyond basketball. And how do you think that Bearcats prepared you for life and your career?
That's a good question. I think a lot of the things is just keeping you accountable. That was one thing, like, as a coaching staff, if you showed up to a practice and you weren't playing hard, you weren't giving it your all, you were held accountable for it, which maybe some other clubs didn't do that. They were just like, oh, it's just kind of, we're hanging out here playing basketball, just throw the ball out. Like, the coaches really just dove into each other's life, kept each other accountable, made a family atmosphere, which I think is crucial in life, because you don't want to have a set of individuals in any team you're a part of. You want to have a set of a team that can work together, and it's just working well with others, communicating with others, talking on defense, like things that like would make you uncomfortable, especially as a 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th grader, things that you don't want to do, but things that will set you up for life and for years beyond. Is just communicating to your teammates, saying things that need to be said, and not just staying quiet, but just working your butt off every single time. Yeah. A huge part of it was from that. Because I spent with the Bearcats from all the way from 3rd to 8th grade. And a lot of that was through that. Obviously, like, school would help with that too, like high school basketball, college basketball. Like, I had other great coaches as well, but the Bearcats was like an unbelievable foundation for that.
To get you started, and then let high school and college and professional coaches take over from there. Yeah, just build it. So that's awesome. And that's what, as you know, the Bearcats are always trying to do to really build that foundation. What's your involvement now with the Bearcats organization? So, because I remember when I asked you in high school, do you think you ever want to come back and coach in the Bearcats? when you were at the basketball camp with Chad Bickley and you told me, no, Dad, I hate kids. I don't ever want to coach
I don't
kids.
think I said the words. I don't think
then,
the words I hate.
Well, maybe not hate. That's true. I don't like kids. I don't want to coach kids. And then you came back from Germany and you're like, I want to coach like right away. I mean, what changed in your mind? What was your involvement and what is it now? And how did you get involved with the Bearcats and why? What changed during that time?
Yeah. I mean, I think at first when I came back from college, I was just coaching just because it kept me around the gym. Like there wasn't a desire for it right out of college. Like my desire was to play professional basketball right out of college. And after I was working out, I was just in the gym. I started getting involved with coaching and realized over a short period of time that like I really enjoyed it. Like being in charge of a practice, being able to dive into these kids' lives, be able to coach them up, not just in basketball, but how you're saying too, in life too. Set them up, give them values so like they can hold onto the basketball court, but also bring out into real life scenarios. And after I realized like in a short time that you can have such a huge impact on these kids, I just fell in love with the idea of coaching. And you're right, it was something I was so against doing, but I loved it and been coaching with the Bearcats since 2017. Now, since I've moved up to Newport, I'm not coaching specifically a team, but I'm helping out with tryouts. Every single time we have a tryout, somebody occasionally pop in for practices every now and then. When we have tournaments up in Orange County, I'll be there on the bench with teams, cheering them on, coaching the kids up when I can, running clinics during the holidays, getting big groups together, just coaching kids up through that. Really taking more of like a leadership role in terms of the coaching the kids, but something that I'll still be around forever. I mean, I'll be forever linked and thankful for the Bearcats now for what it gave to me.
Yeah, that's great. I think you really have a gift. I mean, I've watched you work with kids, and even when you first came back, and you really have a gift for teaching kids, and kids really respond to you, and you're very good at it, and you make it fun, and you really have a talent, and so it's really great to see that you're still involved. And that's a great thing about the Bearcats is it's not a huge time commitment. It can be an hour here, hour there, whatever. Just get involved, sit on the bench, help wherever you can. So that's just great. And it's great that you're still involved and you'll be involved at some level forever. So what advice would you give? Let's say somebody's thinking about joining the Bearcats or get involved with the Bearcats now. What would be your advice or your pitch to them of why Bearcats over any other club out there?
Mm-hmm. I mean, if you're thinking about joining the Bearcats, I say 100% do it. I think not even a question in my mind. Like, this is the best club in San Diego. They actually care about you as a person. They want each individual to get better. They want to dive into your life, all the coachings. We have the greatest coaching staff in San Diego, and we'll have the greatest coaching staff in Philippines when that becomes a thing. And it's just something that we want to continue to build on. And I mean, it's obvious. I want the Bearcats. Maybe I am a little biased, but I think we're the best club because of those reasons. We actually focus on getting kids better every single day. We don't, especially at a youth level. We want to win. Winning feels great. I'm a competitor. I'm the biggest competitor I know. Like, my friends give me crap about it all the time because I'm ultra competitive. But that's just something that, like, as a youth level, I've kind of changed my mindset. Like, when I go to tournaments, when I go to leagues, I want to win. But the most important thing, no matter what, is getting these kids better in practice, in games. And that's something that the Bearcats do better than everybody, because when you get to high school, that's when you want to start focusing on winning.
Don't start counting the wins or losses till you can get your name in the paper, basically. No. So that's when you start counting it. And like you said, we're all competitive. I'm competitive too, as you know. But it can't be the main thing. The main thing is to teach kids and teach them how to compete and work hard and being part of a team and impact their life in so many other ways. And then from that, hopefully you win as well, but it can't be the number one. So yeah, I agree with you. So that's great. That's great advice. And then just any last thoughts or any advice you want to give? This is really just your chance to, you know, here on, which I know we'll have you back again, but here on the channel, the Bearcats channel, is just like give the kids advice, give them one word of advice or encouragement or a key element of wisdom of what it really takes to be successful in basketball and what it takes to be successful in life.
Mm-hmm. For basketball, I would say just work harder than anybody and actually make a plan, because a lot of kids, and something I did too, like I would just think like, oh, if I go outside to shoot around for an hour, just follow the ball around, just do whatever, like that's going to make me better. But like I've even with some of the kids I've trained one-on-one, I told them like, hey, you need to actually make a plan. Like this is the plan you need to do. For the first 15 minutes, you need to focus on ball handling. For the for the next 15 minutes, you're going to focus on layups. You're going to focus on mid-range after that. Then you're going to go out to threes for like my whole thing too was if I thought I was tired, I'd push myself for another 10 minutes, 15 minutes sometimes, really push myself to exhaustion, because that's the fourth quarter. And those 10, 15 minutes, they add up. All of a sudden, 4 days, that's a whole nother hour of working out that you had over maybe someone else who gave up when they're tired. And then over a month, that's a couple hours, might even be like a whole 7 hours worth of training. And just working hard. And that's something, I wasn't a talented guy. I'm a 6'5" white guy, not really athletic, can barely dunk, but I just love working harder than anybody else. And in life, that's going to take you wonders if you just work hard and have a great attitude, and just everywhere you go, you have a smile on your face. You want to be able to communicate with people, love on people, and just work hard than anybody else. I mean, they say it over and over again, but if you have a great attitude and you have a great work ethic, it's going to take you far in life. So those are the main things in life that I would say.
That's great. That's great stuff. So yeah, that's great. This is, great advice, great wisdom. And this has been really good. I really appreciate you coming on the channel and for taking this time to help kids here in California, and also as we move forward in the Philippines, start to set that up to help kids there and take all the principles what we build here and which I think is going to be a huge success over there as well. So I really appreciate you, Grant, for coming on, for taking the time, and thanks for sharing with this channel and with everybody listening. And I think it's really going to have an impact on people. Thank you.
Of course. Yeah. Thanks for having me. I'm praying for the best for Filipino California Bearcats. And